So what are some reasons you should start using Ableton Live over other DAWs? In this video, I'll be showing you 10 life-changing features unique to Ableton that helped improve my recording, mixing, and songwriting. Coming right up. Hi, I'm Les Vegas, recording artist, music producer, and mixing engineer from Los Angeles, California. On this channel, I talk about all the latest pro audio hardware and software and provide tips and tricks on recording and mixing music at home. We also take a look at how some of the biggest chart-topping hits are made by producing nearly identical remakes 100% in the box. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing, and at any point in the video, check out the links to all the different gear, software, and other things we talk about in this video in the description below. Today, I'll be sharing with you my top 10 reasons to start using Ableton Live and why I made it my primary DAW. I'll start by saying I've been using DAWs since 1994. Cakewalk and Pro Tools were the two major DAWs at the time. I used Cakewalk in high school and learned Pro Tools in college. After school, I would teach private lessons in Cubase and was learning Nuendo in my free time. I've also used Logic, FL Studio, Reason, GarageBand, and Acid. So I've been around to experience the evolution of many DAWs over the years and continue to use them today to stay up to date on all the improvements made along the way. About a year and a half ago, I gave Ableton a try just before the launch of Live 10. I was a little hesitant because I used to give public presentations on Ableton when I worked for Apple back in 2004, and honestly, I never really liked it. I thought the interface and workflow was unfamiliar and not very intuitive for pro audio professionals that were used to working with applications like Pro Tools. However, I was getting into producing electronic dance music and I was hearing a ton of good things about Ableton, so I decided to buy it when it was on sale just before the launch of 10. After immersing myself in it every day for months, I was blown away by what I could do in Ableton that I was never able to do in any other DAW before. So let's take a look at a few of those features now. I think the first thing that really impressed me was the scale effect. When I was learning music theory as a kid, I never took the time to memorize all the notes in each of the major and minor scales, so I've been playing by ear for years now. Somehow, I always managed to keep things in key, but I hit a ton of wrong notes along the way. With the scale effect, all you have to do is load it up on a MIDI channel before any VST instrument, and boom, you can't hit a wrong note. Check it out. Also, related to recording MIDI, I love how you can fold the piano roll so it only shows the notes you're using. To show only the notes in the key you're working in, what I usually do is just draw in the notes of the scale at the beginning of the MIDI clip, select all, mute them, and then click the fold button. Now you can see that the piano roll only shows the notes in the scale. This can be really helpful to people who prefer to draw in their melodies instead of playing them on a keyboard or MIDI controller. This is just another way to make sure your productions are always in key. Like the scale effect, the chord effect allows you to play or draw in one note and it will play back full 3 or 4 note chords. You can play major, minor, 7th chords and more. Combine this with the scale effect we just talked about and now you can't play a chord out of key. Check it out. My next favorite feature is a relatively new one, Capture MIDI. How many times have you been trying to work out a part until you've nailed it, hitting all the right notes and totally in the groove, and then right when you go to hit record, you just can't seem to do it again? Well, see you later to those days. With the Capture MIDI feature, once you've nailed that part you were just practicing, in the menu, just go to Create, Capture MIDI, and Ableton's got your back. It inserts the last few bars you played right into the track, just as you played them, even though you never hit record. Boom! This is a huge time saver and really helps keep confidence high and the creativity flowing. And when you're producing music, being in the moment like that, having fun and getting excited is what ends up making the best songs. The next one, Live clips is an excellent feature that I haven't seen in any other DAW. However, I think this feature tends to get promoted more than most as it is unique to Ableton, but unfortunately, I think this is where Ableton might be throwing some people for a loop and actually preventing them from buying or even trying it. But watch this. I'm going to break it down real simple for you. Instead of just recording one really good part while you were jamming out, why not record a few parts along the way and then audition them in context with the song at any time during the production process to see which works best? Boom! Unreal. All you do is record or import a part and then drag it to a slot on a MIDI or audio channel. Yep, that's right. You can do this with MIDI or audio, and if you adjust the BPM of the song at any time, the live clip conforms to the tempo. So now watch this. In this session, I recorded a little drum beat, a bass line, and a lead. This is how it sounds. But I also had another idea for a lead, so all I do is select that live clip to compare. I still like lead 1 better. However, I had another idea for a bass line too. So now, let's select the first lead and try it with the other bass line. This time, I like the second bass line better. Now you can see the power of this feature and how it can really help improve the quality of your productions. This next feature, drum racks, isn't a groundbreaking idea. However, I can't even tell you how much I appreciate the simplicity of this thing. When you're programming drums, you may want to put together kits for specific drum hits or genres. For example, this is a kit of samples I put together for the dance remixes I produce. I just drag and drop the drum rack onto a MIDI track and boom, all my favorite drum samples on separate tracks that can be triggered by a MIDI controller or computer keyboard. And not only that, but with this rack, I already took the time to gain stage and balance all the drums, so I don't even have to touch a thing when it's time to start mixing. If you want to download this drum rack with all the samples pre-mixed like this, I put a link to where you can download it in the description. Okay, so just like the drum racks, instrument racks use Ableton's world-class sampler, which by the way models the sound and characteristics of like 5 of the best samplers of all time. This thing not only allows you to get ridiculously creative with sounds and vocal samples, but say you have a classic analog synth you just love, but hate the work required to incorporate it into your modern digital workflow. No problem. With an instrument rack, you can sample an entire analog synth or drum machine note for note at all velocities, save it as an instrument rack, and then use it as you would any other VST instrument. I mean, you could potentially take that old Roland Jupiter 8 off the wall, sample the thing to your heart's content, and then sell it on reverb.com for 16 grand. I'm not kidding, link in the description. Again, not another new idea here, but the next feature, group tracks, is Ableton's way of setting up group aux buses or creating submixes for groups of instruments like all drums, all vocals, or all effects. Though yeah, every DAW does this. It's the way Ableton makes it so simple that's killer. Check it out. All you have to do is click on the first track you want to group, hold shift, click the last track and hit Command G. And just like that, boom, all the tracks grouped and routed properly. They also fold so you can hide the tracks you don't need to see, so you can see your whole session without even scrolling. All the top mixing engineers group tracks like this, and grouping tracks like this makes it easy to bounce stereo audio tracks for stem mastering. Now try setting up a drum bus on an aux channel in Pro Tools and tell me this isn't like way easier. Not only that, but while we're talking about organizing your sessions, I'll toss another one in here. Naming and numbering tracks has never been easier. Check this out. To rename a track, all you have to do is click on it, press Command or Control R, and then start typing. Boom, that easy. And keep the hashtag in front of the track names, and it will automatically number each track for you, even when you move them around in the session. Alright, now to me, this next feature is revolutionary. How many times have you electronic music producers out there pulled up a new session, laid down a kick drum on every beat, added a snare, snap, or clap on beats 2 and 4, and put a hi-hat on every offbeat to get things started? Like a million times, right? And every time you feel compelled to find a new kick, snare, and hi-hat, which ends up distracting you, and before you know it, you've got a killer new kick and hat, but no new song at the end of the day. Well, Ableton allows you to import tracks from sessions you've done in the past into your current project without even saving or closing the project you're working on. What? Yeah. All you have to do is drag a track or group of tracks from your browser into your current project. All tracks come up completely reconstructed with their MIDI and audio data, the plugins that were on the tracks, and with all settings saved. And get this, even with the automation that was on the track. What? Yeah. Okay, so I used electronic music producers as an example in the last feature. Not that everyone couldn't benefit from that one, but most definitely every mixing engineer can benefit from this one. Effect racks. How many times have you been processing a lead vocal and the first thing you do is load up auto-tune, then an EQ, then a compressor, then another compressor, and then a de-esser? And all along the way, you're tweaking the settings for each plugin as you normally do. Right, well check this out. With effect racks in Ableton, you only have to do that once. All you have to do is drag in your plugins like this, tweak your settings, group them, and drag them to the browser where it allows you to name the effect chain and save it for your next song. When you bring up a new session, just drag the effect rack onto a track and boom, all your favorite plugins set up in order with all your usual settings to get started from. What? Yeah. Okay, so here's another one. How many times have you went to put a plugin on a track and you're looking down through your list of plugins saying, okay, what folder is that thing in again? And what was it called? If you could get even anywhere close to remembering the name of the plugin you're looking for, the live browser finds it and pulls it up instantly. Check it out. All you have to do is click on plugins, type the name of the plugin you're looking for, and boom, there it is. Easy. Also, say you're looking for a sample. You can just type in TR909 and there you go. Type in snare after that and now we're really getting somewhere. And here's a power tip. If there's a sample or anything else you find yourself using all the time, just right click on it, assign a color to it, and it's right here in collections so you don't even have to search for it anymore. Okay, well that was 10, but here's another one for you. Audio clips, tempo, and warping. Seriously, I could go on all day because there are a ton of innovative features in Ableton, but I'll end on this one. For all the remixers and producers out there who use loops in their projects, in Ableton, any and all audio can be previewed and played back in real time and in sync with the project tempo from the browser. And all this can be done without affecting the pitch, which can be changed independently. I think a lot of us might take this one for granted. I know I do since I haven't used loops in my projects for quite some time now, but the only DAW I've ever used that could do this as well as Ableton was Acid. If you're unfamiliar, I put a link to it in the description. GarageBand and Logic Pro have this feature, but the loops have to be Apple loops or converted to work properly. And Pro Tools can do this, but from the very bulky Workspaces window, which really tends to take me out of the flow. Even Akai MPC Pro software couldn't do this until the most recent update just a few weeks back. Regardless, Ableton does this better than any of them. So today, I touched on some of the excellent features in Ableton Live and why you should consider buying it or at least giving it a try. If you'd like me to make an in-depth tutorial on any of the features I mentioned today, just let me know. Alright, so somebody get the conversation started. Which DAW do you use? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, some of the top producers and artists in the world tune into videos just like this one, so definitely connect with other musicians and producers down there.